for the service of your Glenda Weisblatt, and it is it's beautiful weather. We were talking about this beforehand. It could be 45, 50 degrees and rain, and it's not. It is just lovely, gorgeous weather. We're sad, and we can concentrate on being together and Glenda as opposed to whatever the weather is. I'll begin with Psalm 121. Asa enai el haharim me'ai labo ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai v'seh shamayim va'aretz. Al yitein lamot raglecha, al yanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha ad yad yaminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yekeka v'yarech balayla. Adonai yishmarcha mikol ra yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmar tzeicha v'wecha me'ata v'ad olam. I lift up mine eyes unto the mountains. What is the source of my help? My help cometh from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your protection will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. God is your guardian. He is your protection at your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from all harm. He will guard your soul, your going and your coming, now and forever. Death has taken our beloved Glenda Weisblatt. Friends grieve in their darkened world. In their silence there is lamentation. In their tears there is loneliness. Lost in their sorrow may they find the presence of loving friends. Hear them, O God, and be with them. For Glenda's love that united so many people in life and which death cannot sever. For her companionship that was shared along life's path and which continues through the tenderness of life. For the gifts of her heart and mind which brought joy and happiness and is now a precious remembrance. For all of these and more we give our thanks to God. In this time of grief, we listen to the voice of our sacred scriptures once again. It brings us the ever-new message of God's nearness. It tells us of our kinship with the Creator, in light as in darkness, in joy as in sorrow, in life as in death. Together let us recite in the English the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We gather this afternoon to fulfill the solemn obligation of paying our respects to the memory of our dear Glenda Weisblatt. The Hebrew name is Tzipora Bat Chaim V'Baracha. This assembly of friends and loved ones is a support and a comfort to the sorrowing family. Glenda was a loving daughter, sister, wife, sister-in-law, mother, grandmother, friend, and acquaintance. She was a fine acquaintance to people as well. If you knew her a little bit, you knew her, you liked her. an upcoming Torah portion toward the end of the book of Exodus. Our ancestors were commanded to bring the materials for the construction of the tabernacle in the wilderness. Exodus 35. And they're commanded to bring the materials, and everything is going according to plan. People are bringing. They brought, and they brought, and they brought. There's only one problem. Maybe for the first time in a building plan history, they didn't know when to stop bringing. And so finally, Moses had to say, in Exodus chapter 36, verse 6, Moses proclaimed, "Let no man or woman make further efforts toward the sanctuary." And over the past couple of days, as we've talked about Glenda, I was reminded of this Torah teaching because in so many ways she didn't know when to stop either. She was caring, she was generous, she was loving, she was a good friend to so many people. And thank God she didn't know when to stop being all of those things and doing all of those things. Glenda Sharon was born here in Cleveland on February 24th, 1942. Her parents, Herman and Bertha, both of blessed memory. Herman and Bertha came from the old country. The old country in this particular family was Poland. They came from Poland in 1921. She was the elder. She was the older of the two, and she's survived by her younger brother, Sandy. When Sandy and I spoke on the phone, Sandy said she's a sweet soul, a great person, a wonderful mother. And in our family, our parents, Bertha and Herman, they died when we were young, pretty young. By the time I was about 20 years old, they say, both of our parents had passed. And so emotions run hot when you have all of these losses in your life. And so we didn't communicate well. But over the years, things got much better. I will never forget, he said, when I was in graduate school in Maryland, and Glenda came to Washington, D.C. for a Hadassah conference, and somehow she found me and she reached out to me and she called me and we reconnected, and it was so touching. And then a few years ago, when Glenda was still living in Cleveland, my wife and I came to Cleveland to kind of rediscover my family roots. You know, we went to Corky and Lenny's, we went to some of the old places, and then we had a good visit with Glenda too. Both Marty and Glenda went to Cleveland Heights High School, and they met, Marty and Glenda. Both worked at the federal building downtown. They worked for the IRS. And then they met, and they married, December 20th, 1964, at Taylor Road Synagogue. 1964, the year the Browns won the NFL championship. Marty and Glenda were on their honeymoon when that happened. And it was a good marriage. Marty's sister Susan shared the following. She said, I met Glenda over 60 years ago when my big brother Marty found his Bescherts of all places, the IRS. Glenda was beautiful and sweet and charming and Jewish, and it seemed to be a perfect fit. They had a small wedding at Taylor Road Synagogue. Glenda not only invited me, the little sister, to be the maid of honor, but let me wear one of her own dresses. Although at times she may have thought I was a little strange, probably with good reason, she was always so welcoming and supportive. She and Marty were great role models. They created a loving home and a loving family, and were so special. They found the humor in situations and shared so many good times. I can still recall Glenda's laugh and Marty calling her Glens. Glenda was an outstanding daughter-in-law, and I know that it was not always easy. She cared for my mother as she aged, spending time at Montefiore, and even doing her laundry. I am so grateful for all that she did, since I was not there to help. Glenda was rightfully proud of her family. Her children and grandchildren meant everything to her. The loving care that Julie has provided over the past couple of years really kept her going and allowed her to enjoy her life under the most difficult circumstances. We will all miss Glenda and wish that she will rest in peace next to her beloved husband, Marty. Glenda and Marty shared a life of almost 57 years at the time of his death in 2021. They were blessed with family, children, Barry and Julie, Barry and Jenny, Julie and Andrew, and grandchildren, Peter, Jack, Anna, Olivia, and Ryan. And Anna represents all the grandchildren. She is here. Julie said, Mom and Dad said their first date was to go buy a Christmas tree for the office. Neither of them had much experience buying Christmas trees, but since they were put in charge of it, they did it. And it was like their first date. They went to go buy a Christmas tree. It's a great story for Jewish kids. Although neither of them really had any experience doing it. So they did that, apparently very successfully. And Mom absolutely loved gardening and swimming. She loved doing water aerobics. She loved entertaining. And there was nothing she loved to do more than make a Passover Seder. She always secretly told me where the Afikomen was hidden. Barry now knows this. It was always hidden in the piano bench. He always wondered how she knew. But I guess if you add up all of the guilt you got from the Afikomen all those years, it wouldn't add up to that. Yeah, it was more like having found it. It was more important than however much money you got. I don't know about your family, but it's a few bucks and some chocolate. Her biggest joys were her grandchildren. On October 7th, my mom was still watching the news after the Hamas terrorist attacks happened in Israel. And Mom turned to me and said, Rhoda Rosenblatt is 100 years old and a longtime friend of the family and lives on a kibbutz in Israel. And Mom wanted to know that Rhoda was safe. So Rhoda's son, Jim Rosenblatt, is Jim here? No, it's okay. I just wanted to... It's okay that he's not here, but when you see him, say hi for him. Rhoda's son, Jim, in Cleveland had his mom and daughter make a video, and she was playing cards, and Julie shared the video with me. It was wonderful to see, and she said Mom must have watched that video about 10 times. And since the Hamas attacks, we haven't watched the news at all. We're just watching the cooking show. She said we were only watching the cooking show. No more news. And Glenda was a sports fan. She used to go to the Indians games, who got a tie for the tribe. Not the Browns games, because usually too cold to go to the Browns games. And on Tuesday evening, Glenda breathed her last. So now she's at peace. Now there's just rest and wholeness and peace. Just as Shabbat is a time of rest, so too for Glenda it is a time of rest and peace. Her soul is returning to God and to be with the souls of her dear Marty, relatives, friends, and ancestors of our people. We learn this in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 7. The dust returns to the earth as it was. The spirit returns to God who gave it. One day all of us will join our dear ones in Olam Haba, in the world to come. It's not a place, it's not a physical place. It is a spiritual time. It's a spiritual existence. It's an eternal time during which you will be together again. We're sending along a well prayed from little prayer book with her and a Haggadah in the casket. It's a mitzvah to escort the body of your loved one to its final resting place, and it's a mitzvah to provide respectful burial for holy books and ritual objects of our heritage. We sent Tamala Passover Haggadah in particular, not only because she loved baking a Seder, also because Passover is the time when we recall and we give thanks for our ancient liberation from Egyptian slavery. We are free today because of God's deliverance those many, many years ago. Now Glenda has been liberated from her illness and from any sort of pain. Your memories are filled to overflowing, and we give thanks to God for this gift of long life. And even in our sadness, we are grateful for the time we were blessed with. And as you think of her, you should consider making a Passover Seder next year. Take the opportunity. Maybe take a swim. Maybe do some gardening. Have a good laugh. And be helpful and kind. And do those things in her loving memory. And so we conclude with words in the first chapter of the book of Job. Adonai Natan, Adonai Lakach, Yishem Adonai Lovarach. The Lord hath given, the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Let us say Amen. Shalom, Yahaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Yahaseh Shalom, Yahaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. May God, who causes peace to reign in the high heavens, cause peace to rain down upon us, upon all Israel, and upon the soul of our dearly departed Glenda Weisblatt, Sikora Bat Chaim V'Baracha. From Psalm 90. Adonai Ma'on Atah Hayita Lanu B'dor V'dor, B'terem Harim Yudadu V'Kalel Eretz V'Tevel, V'Me'olam Ad Olam Atah El. Tashev enosh ad daka v'tomer shuvu v'nei adam ki elef shani be'enecha ki yom etmol ki ya'avor v'ashmura v'layla Zeram tam shena yehiyu baboker k'chatzir yachalof baboker yatzis v'chalach le'erev yimeleel v'yadesh. O God, you have been our refuge in every generation before the mountains came into being, before you brought forth the earth and the world. From eternity to eternity, you are God. You return us to dust. You decree, return, you mortals. For in your sight, 1,000 years are as yesterday when it has passed, or as a watch in the night. You engulf us in sleep. We are like grass that renews itself. At daybreak, it flourishes anew. At dusk, it withers and dries up. The span of our life is 70 years and 10, or given strength 80 years. But the best of those years have trouble and sorrow. They pass by speedily, and we are in darkness. Teach us, therefore, so to number our days that we may attain a heart of wisdom. Turn to us, O God. Show mercy to your servants. Satisfy us at daybreak with your steadfast love, that we may sing for joy all our days. Let your deeds be seen by your servants, your glory by your children. May your favor, O God, be upon us. Establish the work of our hands, that it may long endure. Please rise for El Malei Rachamim. Into your care, O God, we entrust the spirit of our dear Glenda Weisblatt, for you keep faith with your children in death as in life. Sustain us that we may meet with serenity the mysteries that lie ahead, knowing that when we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you, O God, are with us, a loving friend in whom we put our trust. You are the light of our life, our hope in eternity. Male rachamim, shochen bamromim, hametzeh menucha nechona, tachat kanfei hashchina, im kedoshim u'tahorim, kizohar harakim mazirim, et nishmat ציפורה בת חיים ברכה שהלכה לעולמה בעל הרחמים יזכיריה בסתר כנפיו לעולמים ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתה אדוני ונחלתה ותנוח בשלום על משכבה ונאמר Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in the sheltering presence to our dear Glenda Weisblatt. She has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. And in Glenda's loving memory, let us together recite the Kaddish prayer. Yitkadam v'yitkadash shemei Rabbam, ba'alman tifrach v'lutei v'yamarich v'afbetei. Chayechon v'yomechon v'chayechon beit Yisrael b'agala v'zman kariv yimru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbam v'varach v'olam v'lamei al-maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpahar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudusha berichu. Le'elah min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata. Damiran va'almav yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael yimru amen. May God grant peace to those who mourn and comfort all the bereaved among us. Now we must support the body to its final resting place.